good job with that. Adams does a very good job, and Justice and our nutritionists, all those things had very few of those type of things here at this camp. Been other places where at this time in the morning it's 120 degrees and you're battling that with the players. Got a staff meeting coming up here real quick. Questions?
Greg, how do you compensate for the injuries and the overall quality of the equipment?
Well, right now the roster size is the biggest it's ever going to be. We got more players than we've ever had until we get into the regular season. And then once we get into the regular season, it's about playing with the guys you have. And I've been doing that for 40 years, so that's how it is.
How do you feel about that group?
Everything's good. This is a good group of guys, good young group.
How's Avery Williamson's transition been back to?
It's been good, and he's been able to play multiple positions. And one of the things we do is that when we first start here in the spring, everybody has to learn one position. But then it's mandatory that everybody has a second position they have to learn. And some of these guys have already pushed on to the third position. That's how you battle the injuries you're talking about. That's how you battle through a game and not happen to change drastically within a game because it's next man up. Who's the next man or the next best athlete we have to have. It doesn't have to be on the depth chart, but guys play multiple positions. And we play so many different styles of defense. People don't really realize how much they're playing anyway. Some of them are having to play D-line, some of them are having to play linebackers. Some of the DBs have to play the backer positions on some of the calls. So it is what it is.
Have you always had that approach where
Yes.
guys have to play and know multiple?
Yes, and I started at as a position coach many years ago and shocked, a head coach and a coordinator that I was working with because at that time I was a linebacker coach and they thought the next guy on the depth chart when a guy went down was going to go up. I said, no, it's going to be the next best athlete in that group. And we'd already been training. They hadn't even been paying attention to how we're doing that. And, 4 of these guys on the staff have played for me and I helped them get into coaching. Don't have to convince them. And the other 4 guys on the staff have all been on multiple staffs. So they quickly know on how to concept teach, how to concept learn. It's not memorization. That's when you get in trouble. Is same as philosophy. And these guys find out that really it's not that many techniques they have to learn, okay? And you start grouping calls into those areas and it then becomes the next man up. They take great pride on being the next man up. And when they prove that to other teammates, their stock in the locker room goes up because the other teammates say, hey, I can trust you. I can trust you. And that's the whole thing. Respect and trust is earned.
Jamal said your players seem. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Jamal said he'd be willing to play corner.
He could do it. I mean, there's no doubt about it. He's a good enough athlete to do that. We haven't even crossed that bridge right now with him because he's learning other positions too. But he's a good enough athlete to do that. Yes.
Your players have talked about how much.
Real quick, and back in too. If you go back to Super Bowl 44, you'll see a corner go down in the first quarter and a safety have to play the corner position. And how that was the next man up, and had to do that. And multiple times I've had to do that safety at the corner position. Okay, in some places we've been, and it just is what it is. Go ahead.
Your players have talked about how much they like your intensity and the competition in practice. How good has that been? And is there ever a time where you say you have to ease them back a little bit?
When we have to worry about the intensity of the players, we have the wrong players. When we have to worry about the competition and the lack of competition in practice or games, we have the wrong people, coaches and players. And there has been a smile on my face since I've walked in here. These young men want to compete, whether it's an argument, whether they're playing chess or checkers in the room, whether anything, they want to compete. And they want to know that, I'm there to pull them back if they go too far. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. But if they won't do that, we got the wrong people, okay? And you can't win at this level without that kind of competition.
Greg,
What do you think of Quinnen at this point, including his snaps against the Giants?
He brings a smile to my face. Another Williams, and no, I'm just kidding. And but he's done very well. And what I would say about him is that we've just scratched the surface with him. Nick Saban, great friend, just scratched the surface with him. I understand how young he is, and he's going to continue to move up and up. And I can't, until you get a chance to be with him every day, you don't realize how smart he is. And you guys, what conversations you've had with him, don't be surprised if he makes you look like an idiot, because he can. Okay, he's very sharp. he has quickly gotten the respect of and earned the respect of other players and other veterans on the team on how he's conducted himself. Good young man.
When he draws that holding call against Hernandez the other night, that's obviously a positive. Is that something?
It's one of the stats that we keep track of, and we keep track of so many things that's not on the normal stat sheet, but caused penalties, whether it be a false start, whether it be a holding, that is caused. A caused sack, a caused interception. We keep track of all those things. Otherwise, I tease them all the time. I could just throw a highway cone out there and let that guy get in the way.
Greg, you hold your players accountable in front of your other players over
Constantly.
Why has that been effective for you?
Well, it's been that way for my whole life, and it's say what I mean what I say, and you can't BS players. You can't BS that. It's got to be an every way thing about it. And the thing that is easily convinced when you go to a new place is find the best guy there and make him do it. And everybody else says, uh-oh, yep, uh-oh, mom and dad didn't make you do that stuff, okay? Mom and dad couldn't play either.
When you say Quinnen has just scratched the surface, what are your expectations for him this year? And then
He'll continue to grow. We're going to have a great rotation. One of the things we do with the defensive line is that happens to be a position, and one of the things that Jimmy Johnson copied from us many years ago when he was at Dallas and I was at the Oilers is that you can't expect a defensive lineman to play 100% of the snaps. He's in a fist fight in a phone booth for 3 hours. How are you going to do that? It's not like playing offensive line. Okay, it's totally different in the power, okay, and the exercise and the conditioning of that position. So we have a rotation that has to be, and when we take however many Adam says we're going to take into the game, our job is as much as we can to get it 50-50 with all those guys. Sometimes the ability level makes it be 60-40. Sometimes it's 65-35. One of the things that I did was tough last year at Cleveland was that I played some of those guys too much because the guys behind them weren't ready. And so here they'll be ready, and we'll try to do as much as we can to keep it an even number of snaps for everybody in regular season games.
Take a couple more. Greg, where is Ja'Kai Polite in his development?
He's doing well. Okay, he is pushing himself hard. He's had a lot of different positions he's doing, but he's taken the next step. It's been a shock for him to see how everybody at this level can play. He's not going against somebody that doesn't get a chance in the NFL. Everybody here can play. He's done well.
Greg, I think with the injuries at corner, the theory is it's Gregg Williams. He can work his magic even without depth, even without necessarily your starters available. Can you?
Well, I would say this, is that I think you've seen in this division Coach Belichick do a great job with the next man up. And you got to do that in a game. And in a game when a particular guy goes down and he had a strength and the next guy up doesn't, why would you keep on making him do the same thing? So schematically, we'll do everything we can for them, but then it comes down, it's time to play. And if you belong in this league, you have to show up and you got to get ready to play. But we'll adjust some scheme for those guys when it happens to happen in regular season. In preseason, we don't do that. In preseason, what we're doing in these games is I'm pressuring very little and trying to make sure, and Joe Douglas upstairs has done a great job with this, but his crew and our crew being on the same page on seeing the guy play, whether he can play man, whether he can play zone, whether he can tackle in space, all those type of things. So we've got to do that in our preseason games to get good evaluations on our guys. And the way we practice, you guys talk about our competition in practice. We get a chance to get a really good evaluation on our guys in practice because of how hard and fast we practice. So you get a chance to see it almost be game mode. Some of the places in the league, it looks like a walkthrough when they're practicing. How do you evaluate these guys in a walkthrough? You can't.
Do you enjoy that challenge, Greg, if need be?
No, that's just part of it. The competition of what we do, and that's another thing about the respect that you gain from players is that they see that not only do they earn the trust of each other, but I have to earn the trust of them too. And they understand that I've been around a little while and can do a lot of different things and seen a lot of different things.
What have you thought of Brian Poole?
He's done excellent. I really wanted to try to get him when he was coming out. So it's good about the circle of life. I keep on talking to those guys about, when we're interviewing you back at the combine or interviewing you back in the 30-man interviews and that type of stuff. When we get a chance, you never know. It comes back around on a free agency or whatever, we get a chance to do that. And I like it because it didn't take much convincing when he got here. You know, we had a chance to bring him in here. You know, he remembered those conversations, and he's done very well. Okay, and now, just like all of them, it's about staying healthy and helping them do the best they can do.
All right, thank you, everyone.
You bet,
We're gonna
you bet.
bring the assistant coaches out 2 by 2 now.